Hey folks, today is Friday, February 20th, 2026. As usual, my name is Jake Baldino, here to talk about all the video game news that has been going on this week. Quite a week, a lot of stuff to talk about, and let's just rip the band-aid off. The first thing is bad news. Sony PlayStation has closed Bluepoint. That's right, if you're not familiar, Sony closed the studio that is arguably the best at remaking their stuff. Bluepoint, of course, was behind the Shadow of the Colossus remake and most recently the Demon's Souls remake, which was very well received as a launch PS5 title. Also, not too long ago, if you remember, in 2021, Sony actually acquired Bluepoint. But since then, they haven't put anything out. Now, Bloomberg is reporting that the studio is closed. Apparently, they were working on a God of War live service game, and when that didn't come together, it was canceled. And as they were trying to figure out what they were working on next, Sony shuttered the studio. So, not to mince words here, they acquired the studio, used them for a little bit of support services and stuff like that, didn't produce a game, and then shut them down. This to me is insane. The frustration aside that always comes with this stuff, right? Like how hard this industry is and how many projects get canceled and how many people lose their jobs. This to me looks like higher level, just complete mismanagement stuff. Like this is the one that I think a lot of people were like, what is going on here? This isn't the first time we've heard about Sony having a studio work on a live service game that didn't seem suited for them, and then it just kind of never worked out. And here, with losing Bluepoint, that sucks because they could have been doing anything. There was a point where there were rumors suggesting they were remaking a bunch of things, from Castlevania to Bloodborne to the Metal Gear Solid 1 remake, but apparently at one point they were also trying to work on their own IP. None of that matters now because they're gone, and I think they had potential to just continue to make great stuff. Of course, one of the PlayStation heads, Herman Hulst, who not that long ago tweeted in 2021 that he was excited about acquiring Bluepoint, put out this statement. After starting it with, hey, everything's going great. We have success with all these games like Death Stranding, Ghost of Yotei, MLB The Show, blah, 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 player engagement, blah, blah, blah. He says, and I quote, "At the same time, we're operating in an increasingly challenging industry environment. Rising development costs, slowed industry growth, changing player behavior, and broader economic headwinds are making it harder to build games sustainably. This decision was not made lightly." There's more to it, but like, whatever. It's corporate speak, and honestly, it's incredibly frustrating because the way I look at it, just as a couch guy, a layman, right? Increasingly challenging industry environment, rising development costs, yes. Slow to industry growth, yes. Changing player behavior, yes. Broader economic headwinds, yes. All that stuff is absolutely true, but you can still combat that, I think, with better management of what the hell you're doing. And the way I look at it, and I have plenty of smoke for, any platform that owns studios and closes them down, but here specifically, it really feels like a fallout of this trying to chase the live service trend. Look, everybody is investing tons of money to try and hit that, jackpot, that winning number, and get a successful live service game, but there are only so many out there. There's also so many people out there that want a game like this, and we've seen so many losses, and Sony continues to squander what they had previously built up as them just sticking to what they do best, which is studios and big cinematic crazy games that get people to buy PlayStations. But since Jim Ryan, previous head, instituted this whole big live service initiative, I think we've seen nothing but fallout since then. There really hasn't been a lot of success and good examples. The one live service game most people wanted to play, Last of Us Factions, that was canceled. Helldivers 2, they didn't even see that coming. So the way I look at it now is that we're still in the shadow of Jim Ryan's decisions that have these massive ripple effects. But now I think with someone like Herman Hulst, some of this could have been predicted. You could have seen a lot of this coming, and you could have managed and leveraged these studios better and played to their strengths. Look, I'm not a business guy. I don't know, but it just seems like so unfortunate and just a waste of everybody's time. Players' time, players' energy, developers' work and time working on things that'll never see the light of day. It's just like a frustrating L for everybody. This has been a big old rant. I don't usually start the videos off with this, but I figured most of you guys were with me on this one. So yeah, what do you think? I just really think Bluepoint could have worked on anything other than a God of War live service game. But anyway, yeah, are you with me or no? Hey, next up, this video is sponsored by Chime. Look, living a financially secure life can feel daunting, and banks don't make it any easier. The average American nearly spends a whopping $300 per year in bank fees. I've been hit by those fees many times. Look, the banking system can feel broken for so many, and that's where Chime comes in. Chime is the most loved banking app with millions of 5-star reviews for good reason. Not only a good user interface and feature set, but also no monthly fees, no overdraft fees, no minimum balance fees. Also, over 40,000 fee-free ATMs nationwide. All this gives you a big leg up. Not to mention making your savings easier with automatic roundups on purchases. You can also move a portion of each paycheck right to savings. And I'm a sucker for a high yield savings account, so get this. You can earn 3% APY on savings. That's 7 times more than the national average. You can have all this set up in minutes. They make it super easy. So if you want to join the millions who are already banking fee-free today, give Chime a try. Just click the link in the description down below or use the QR code on screen here to get started. Right now, you can actually get a up to $350 bonus through our link. That's real cash. You can use it to kickstart your savings or anything, so get going. Again, click that link in the description down below, start growing your savings, and big thanks to Chime for sponsoring this video. Now, let's get back to the news. Next up, a small update on Elder Scrolls 6. Yes, Todd Howard did an interview with Greg Miller at Kind of Funny Games, and they didn't dive too deep into Elder Scrolls, but we did get little morsels. Quote, in many ways, Fallout 76 and Starfield are a little bit of a creative detour from that kind of Elder Scrolls Fallout where you're exploring a world in a certain way. As we come back to Elder Scrolls 6 that we are doing now, we are coming back to that classic style that we've missed, that we know really, really well. We have a style of game that we really like, that people expect from us, and there is a lot of innovation to be done there still, so when you step into a world, you feel like you are experiencing it for the first time. He also said, and I quote, we're happy with where Elder Scrolls 6 is headed right now. Also, in terms of like how this game will look, or at least the tool set that they are using to build this game, he said, and I quote, we spent the last several years bringing Creation Engine 2, which powers Starfield, up to Creation Engine 3, which is going to power Elder Scrolls 6 and beyond. Apparently, in terms of internal development, they're close to passing a big milestone, but it's still going to be a while before it's finished. So there you have it. Not too much, you know, a Creation Engine update. I know that's not what everybody wants to hear. Some people just want Elder Scrolls and Unreal Engine 5 or whatever, but either way, I like him hearing at least that they're saying they're going back to basics. They're going back to like their classic style approach. That'll be interesting to see. Even though I feel like Starfield wasn't as big of a deviation as he necessarily suggested. Like, I don't know. I think there's still room for evolving that original classic now Bethesda Studios formula, but how exactly? I don't know. We're just gonna have to wait and see, and it seems like we're gonna be waiting a while. Also, in case you missed it, Capcom put out a little thing because Resident Evil Requiem or Resident Evil 9 has leaked. They said watch out for spoilers. I'm also publicly saying watch out for spoilers. Be careful even in this comment section. Be careful anywhere online or on YouTube because it's definitely a game worth experiencing going in knowing nothing. Also, they're trying to get me. Ubisoft officially did their announcement. They teased it a few weeks back, but Solid Snake is in Rainbow Six Siege. He's coming to Siege, featuring Sam Fisher as well. It seems like Snake, voiced by David Hayter, Sam Fisher, not voiced by Ironside, feeling kind of just like a shell of the former Sam Fisher, but still a very hype little teaser trailer, as well as goodies like different skins for Snake and some Metal Gear content with Snake and Sam Fisher, and like the Metal Gear Solid 1 skins and his Metal Gear Solid 2 look like they were trying really hard to get me to play Siege. I'm someone who's played the original Rainbow Six back in the day, right? And now they're baiting me in with some of my favorite things, but I'm still not going back to that game. Sorry, guys. But that's just me. I don't have time for multiplayer games like this very often. I'm busy reviewing a lot of single player games right now, but let me know how you feel about the Solid Snake reveal. You think they did the guy justice or what? Hey, all right, just as we were about to make this video live, some breaking news I wanted to include. Phil Spencer, head of Xbox, is officially retiring. This was just announced now. He's retiring effective Monday, February 23rd. Xbox president Sarah Bond, who a lot of people thought was going to be like the next gen person, she's out. She's leaving Microsoft and Xbox. Also, Matt Booty has technically been promoted now to Chief Content Officer. But the big thing here is who is replacing Phil Spencer, head of Xbox, and we now officially know that as well. It is Asha Sharma, who is an unknown in the gaming industry, but specifically she worked at Microsoft, currently as the president of Microsoft's Core AI product. Before that, she was also leadership at Instacart. As part of her statement, her thing issued to the team, she did talk about kind of like the return of Xbox and ushering that in. Also an interesting quote: as monetization and AI evolve and influence this future, we will not chase short-term efficiency or flood our ecosystem with soulless AI slop games. Games are and always will be art crafted by humans and created with the most innovative technology provided by us. That's a good statement. But of course, actions speak louder than words, and we have to see where Xbox goes from here. It's probably going to be a little while before we actually see the ripple effect of leadership changes and, all that taking place. But it is someone with a background. Clearly, when you look at her resume, it's all a lot of product development stuff. Then, of course, the AI thing, which we'll see how that all goes. But yeah, as of right now, it's kind of like an unknown person coming in to most people. I'm curious to see how it goes. But yeah, again, Phil Spencer is out after a long career in games and also, of course, as head of Xbox. I'm very curious to see if he does end up somewhere next, like doing something. Kind of like how Reggie is still kind of like out there, in his own little way. I know a lot of people, myself included, have called for Xbox leadership changes. So again, I'm just going to wait and see how this all goes. But yeah, let me know what you think. I'm sure you have strong opinions about Phil Spencer, but just let me know what you think about the whole leadership change, Phil's tenure, all that down there. Next up, we got some spicy potential God of War leaks for you. Now, I would usually say keep this with a grain of salt, but this comes from Kratos himself, or at least new Kratos. Stargate SG-1's own Christopher Judge. Seemed like he spilled potentially a couple little beans on when we're going to see the next God of War, as well as some details about the newly announced remake of the God of War 1 through 3 trilogy, which a lot of people, myself included, have had some burning questions about how it's going to go down, how it's going to feel, and he just kind of yapped to someone. At a convention, a fan asked him some questions, and he was caught on mic saying T.C. Carson is going to be in them. That's, of course, the voice actor of original Kratos. We knew that already. It's not a reboot, but they are going to put all new technology in it. They're going to add more stuff, like a new fighting system. He also confirmed that he's not going to be in the God of War 1 through 3 remake. But this is interesting because just taking his very brief words, you can imply that it is going to be a full overhaul or full remaking of the original games, which I don't know what I was expecting, but I was hoping, again, it would be like God of War 1 and 2 brought up to more modern standards of God of War 3, so they all look and feel and play the same. But if they're going to make it completely different, like what he says, a new combat system, new technology, that's very interesting. It's crazy to see Sony's putting that much like resources and priority into this thing. When I've said this already in the past and I've gotten some flack for it, but I still think God of War 1 and 2 hold up quite well. He also did talk about when his next project was announced. He said, you'll be hearing about what we're doing probably late summer. We don't know if that's the next God of War or not. A lot of people immediately took that at face value that he was talking about the next God of War, but it seems like it's about other things he's working on, whether it's another Sony Santa Monica project or just another project with him. He did clarify in a tweet saying, let me be crystal clear, I have zero involvement with the original games and what they involve, full stop. As much as I would love that everything I do in the future would involve Sony Santa Monica and God of War, I have other projects that I am super excited about. More info this summer. It does seem like it makes sense. Like it's been a while since God of War Ragnarok that we would maybe hear something this summer, but it's up in the air. Some insiders and some leakers online are saying that no, that's not even close. So as of right now, that's what we got. Also, Crimson Desert has been hitting the news. I think there's going to be a lot more previews of the game next week with more people getting their hands on it. But the hype for this game is at like a fever pitch. PR and people from Crimson Desert or Pearl Abyss, the developers, have been going around giving lots of interviews talking about the game, and one of the big takeaways that we got here is that Crimson Desert is going to have no microtransactions, and no microtransactions that they later clarified, at least at launch. But the quote is said, this is made to be a premium experience that you buy and you enjoy the world and not something for microtransactions. This was a rep for Crimson Desert. They said it on the Dropped Frames podcast, so there you have it. We'll do before you buy for the game closer to release. I'm very excited to see if it is worth the hype. It does feel like it's getting kind of insane. It's a very ambitious title, and I'm just really curious to see how it all comes together. Next up, just some quick trailers and stuff, some looks at some new games. The first is for this new game called War Dogs. This made a bit of a splash, especially on social media. This is a tactical first-person shooter, but it's like all-out, big-scale battles. 100 players split across 3 teams fight over a control zone. Graphically, detail, and actual tactical elements from the weapons, how they look, how they feel, seems very promising. Also, we missed it last week. It dropped like right as we were doing the Friday show, but those great guys at Warhorse, they've done it again. Kingdom Come Deliverance 1 has gotten a next-generation update. It's like a native PS5 version. It's free for all existing users, according to their trailer. Better fidelity, better visuals. You love to see it, especially because I think a lot of people played Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 and want to see where it all began. The first game's a little rougher still, but it's definitely worth checking out. Also, check this out. This caught my eye. This is Frontier Legends. This is an action-adventure open-world RPG. Words we've heard a million bajillion times before, but this is actually a Western game. You're a cowboy in an open-world cowboy setting. We don't have enough Western games, enough games set in the Wild West, so I think that's why this is at least worth highlighting. Not too much info on it yet. It looks a little less Red Dead Redemption 2 and a little more gun. Remember that game? And I don't say that as an insult, by the way. That's a very good game. But it just looks like a little bit more like fun, action-focused. Again, it's from a small team. We don't know how exactly it's going to pan out yet. But because it's Western something, I just wanted to put it on your radar. Also, Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green are coming to Switch. You'll be able to get these bad boys on Switch apparently February 27th. Not too far away because it's Pokemon Day. But according to Andrew, our editor, he just texted me. They're going to be charging $20 for each of these bad boys individually. Okay, good luck. Along with that, in terms of game releases this week, last week we talked about High on Life 2 and Reanimal, of course, but this week is a little quieter. We have Neva Prologue. This is a prologue content for Neva for the base game. It's DLC. It's $3. I actually really like this little adventure. Also, Styx Blade of Greed. That's right, they made another one. I'm actually looking forward to playing this because I like janky, weird little games by AA European studios, but also stealth games. And the first 2 Styx games were very interesting, if flawed. And just looking at the Steam reviews for this one so far, it seems like it's kind of a continuation of that, but they have their merits. So I'm going to be checking that out. But also, next week, of course, is Resident Evil Requiem. So tune in for that. I'll be doing the Before You Buy for that. Will all my dreams finally come true? As a child who played Resident Evil 1 back in 1997. Who knows? You're just gonna have to wait and see and find out. But yeah, just keep your eyes peeled for that. And just let me know in the comments what you're thinking about everything going on this week from Bluepoint. Like, what to studio closures, the state of the industry. Also, Todd Howard on that little Elder Scrolls update and creation engine V3. Are you going to be playing a snake in Rainbow Six Siege soon? Let's talk about any of the gaming news down in the comments. I want to hear from you. If you like getting caught up on the news every Friday with me for like a decade now, clicking a like button helps me out. I appreciate it, but thank you for watching. Yell at me on social media. Just look up at Jake Baldino. I tend to be the most active on Instagram these days and my YouTube channel at Jake Baldino. But yeah, hit me up on there. Thank you very much for watching. All I ask now is that you have a great weekend, be safe, and I'm Jake Baldino. Pizza's on me. See ya.